Good evening, fellow Plexers. I'm doing a same-day follow-up to the video I made earlier. I've been in a debate with someone named Vlad on the validity of a little Intel NUC running Unraid connecting back to a Synology NAS in order to improve Plex hardware accelerated transcoding off what the Synology NAS offers with its Celeron 9th gen processor and iGPU. Vlad really insists that somehow this is an inferior setup to a full Unraid setup on equal hardware. And I thought I proved that it wasn't with this video, but he's disputing that the video may have started up instantaneously because it was already loaded into cache. He mentions Windows. I have nothing to do with Windows, but we're going to do a new little experiment. I was going to do this tomorrow, but I have enough people, friends and family, using my server that I need to disable my New Year's pre-roll. I've got 3 different ones that run randomly, and I didn't really want to be filming and showing dashboard while a friend or family member was streaming. So it's best to do it before I go to bed. So I've also decided that I really can't test it fairly without setting some things up beforehand. So what I've done is I've grabbed a whole bunch of different Big Buck Bunny videos, different resolutions, and I've also trimmed about 30 seconds off the beginning. I've decided that it's best to avoid the lead into any movie. There might be 2 or 3 seconds of silence, there might be 5 seconds of silence. So I've trimmed the first 30 seconds off, so we will be starting the movie right where the action is. And then I did the same with the video I used in the earlier video today. I took 5 seconds off this, so when this starts up, we'll get right to the music. And then I grabbed a couple reference files from demolandia.net, and I used FileBot to grab the media characteristics to throw in the file name. And they're all in my Plex network shared folder on my Synology NAS. They're in my movie library sort folder, and then I've created a movie library called Vlad.test. And I have not created that in Plex yet. That does not exist. So let's get rid of that. And I've got too many windows open. So most of my videos are just unscripted. I may set things up ahead of time, but sometimes I don't even know what the outcome is going to be, and it took a while to copy that large 4K file back to my desktop computer to then trim a few seconds off with MKV toolnix and then to copy it back to a folder on the NAS. I think it was 89 gigabytes in size. So what we'll do is we'll create a new library. It'll be a movie library. We'll call it -Vlad test. We'll point it to my sort folder for my different movie libraries. And normally I think I just adjust the trailer settings or the collection settings, but I don't need to here. So I'll create that library. And as you can see, Plex quickly scans everything in. It's going to detect credits and intros. So we might as well let that finish. It shouldn't take long at all. So let me switch to dashboard. And I'll get this resized. I can remove that, and I'll drag in my HTPC client app, and we'll keep both open. Let's let's do something. Let's get the Plex web app resized correctly. Okay, I just wanted something going here so we can see all the pertinent information. Alright, so my little holiday screensaver is 3 megabits per second as a bit rate. Okay, so I want to dispute some things with Vlad right off the bat. I don't need to run any fancy network tests to see if my setup really is as good as his. The only frame of reference is Plex. Plex is all I care about. I'm not a Synology expert. I'm not an Unraid expert. I'm a Plex expert. And the whole point of this dispute is that someone doesn't need to ditch their Synology equipment if they're already invested in it and they want a faster hardware device to run Plex Server on to increase Plex's performance. Vlad's position is that if I switched everything to Unraid, my videos would start 3 to 5 seconds quicker. And my previous videos showed that the largest bit rated 4K file I had started immediately. And that's what we're going to recreate now with a fresh library. And actually, I don't care if this is detecting credits because that's just taxing the system more, right? So if while it's still detecting credits, if I start 4K videos up instantly, it just proves that you don't need Unraid totally to have an efficient and fast and instantaneous Plex server. And it really doesn't matter the client. If the same video on Vlad's system starts up instantaneous in the HTPC client app under any OS, I'm in Linux, I'm in Fedora right now, it doesn't matter how long it takes the same video to start up on a Roku, because that same delay because of a Roku would happen on my end too. We just need to use the best client app in the comparison, and that's always the HTPC client app for your computer. As long as I'm not using a 12-year-old computer and I'm just using something modern, which of course mine is. So let's get into the test. Let's find that new library. Well, I may have to exit out. Let's see if we can find it now. There it is. And let's switch to the library mode. Now my only concern is YouTube can give you a strike if I'm playing a regular movie. So I'm only going to keep it on the Magnificent 7 for a couple seconds, and I'll pause it and we'll look at dashboard. So here's the different Buck Bunnies. Here's the 4K. Let's start with that. And again, this has been trimmed up to about 30 seconds and beyond. Ready? Play. Alright, so that started up instantly. Not seeing enough info in dashboard. So this isn't as large. It's only 17 megabits per second, but it started right up. And nothing's been cached because it's a brand new library. Now let's try the even larger resolution version, and we'll hit play. And again, that started right up, and you can see it's 21 megabits per second. Still not as big. It's a quarter of the size of the demo I did earlier today. So now we'll go to these reference files I found. All right, now that started up instantly, and it's 108 megabits per second. And now this is only a minute 8 seconds long, but it is what it is. So we'll do this one too. And that started up instantly. It's 80 megabits per second. And of course, none of this has been cached. Brand new library. So now the final test. Same movie as before, with only the first 5 seconds trimmed off. Let's hit play now. Alright, I didn't count by 1,000 to 1,000, but had I done that, it would have started before I finished 1,000, which I consider instantly. And now, with this setup, is reporting 192 megabits per second. I'm in a different OS. I'm in Fedora versus Elementary OS. I'm not an expert on bit rates. This is what it is. But without this video being cached previously, it still started up instantaneous. And it doesn't matter if I grab an old Roku device that takes 10 seconds to load this video. This simply starts instantly. So I think I proved beyond a reasonable doubt that no one needs a full Unraid setup if they've already invested themselves in the Synology ecosystem. I think Unraid's fantastic. I've never used it for network storage though. It's a fantastic base for Docker containers. It's a fantastic way to run Plex Server if you want to move it off from your Synology NAS to any hardware that has a better iGPU. So, Vlad, I hope you accept this finally. I think I've given you enough information to recreate this on your end. I would still love to see you do a video so I can see how similar videos start with the HTPC client app on your computer. I'm wondering if it might not be faster with my setup. I don't know what your setup is. But it is what it is. And again, I'm not a Synology NAS expert. I'm not an Unraid expert. But I know a thing or two about Plex. And I think this test is indisputable. Thanks for watching and have a good night.